And that is why a lot of African women look much older than their husbands.
Oh Lord, she just went right in there.
In as much as you're spending time with your children, there's something called spending too much time.
We live in a different time now. You're a stylist and you have no style.
It makes me question, when people say, oh, I want to do cosmetic surgery, the question I ask is why? Why do you want to do it?
I think pressure comes from the expectations that people put on you as a stay-at-home.
We believe that marriage as it is sold to African women in particular is overrated.
There's a thought process behind it, and I think that's where we need to get to, is why are you doing it?
To be honest, I really don't care why you do it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pep Talk on the Jo Maxwell Show. I am your host, Jo Maxwell. Why Jo Maxwell Show? Two reasons actually. The number one reason is, as you all know, for those who know, the mainstream TV, we are very much underrepresented there. And I say we, black women, black faces, black family. I feel like the only time you get to see black faces on TV is either because they are the Beyoncés or the other fraud stars or the other ones are not doing so good. And there isn't the middle points where you kind of cater for the black families that are kind of adding value to the community, that are doing so great, that are working and hustling, doing everything to earn a living. So I sort of thought, it would be great to actually create a platform that allows me to be able to showcase that there are lots of black women that are doing successfully well. And, as women, I think we are doing a lot. Apart from just being mothers, apart from being wives, I think we're doing quite a lot. So creating a platform that allows me to showcase this woman, I think it's a great thing. The other reason is to allow us, again, to be able to talk about some of the real topics, the real life issues that we don't like to talk about. Women, black women especially, we don't like to talk about things like depression. We've gone through depression, having a child with special needs and stuff like that. So this basically, PepTalk Series allows me to bring women in who can talk about these things without feeling ashamed, without feeling, like they can't talk about these real life issues. So that's what Jo Maxwell Show basically is trying to do, just tackling those two things. Let's talk a little bit about your hairstylist and makeup artist as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the impact of that on you as a brand. How does that come in play with all of your identity and all of that?
For me, if you're a makeup artist and you don't look like it shows, you have to wear what you're selling. So my hair has to be on point. If I have awful messy hair or nothing and I'm saying I'm a hairdresser, the first thing people are going to look at is my hair. So you will get judged on what you say you're selling. You're a makeup artist, no makeup. I mean, if you've been doing this for a while and you have a name and you don't wear makeup, it's fine. But if you're saying and you don't look the part, it's kind of hard to sell. We live in a different time now where people judge you. You're a stylist and you have no style.
Wow. So it's a tricky question, right? The answer would be no, right? But actually, there are lots of different groups that are celebrating black women or black culture and all of that. But I think what we lack in the UK is when we don't. There isn't, for the lack of a better word, when it comes to celebrating black history or black family or black women, there isn't a synergy, right? So I sort of feel sometimes you'd find there's a group of people celebrating black family, there's another group. We aren't doing it together. Whereas you'd see where the Caucasians are doing stuff, it's one big thing celebrating, do you know what I mean? So it's a tricky question, but I think if I was to answer the question, I would say no. We're not being celebrated enough. We're not being recognized for the amount of work and effort we're putting into a better community. But I think there are people doing things, and just like Jo Maxwell Show is doing something. Yeah. With you, Amira, obviously being a beauty pageant, I don't know what the world is, but clearly my understanding is that parents, especially African parents, don't necessarily feel comfortable doing that because there is this myth of when you're model, when you're a beauty pageant, you then get exposed to certain things. How have you been able to sort of manage that? I mean, do you have those conversations with your parents? Do your parents have this conversation with you in terms of home education, what should be done and what shouldn't be done, just to kind of counter the fears around that?
My mom's really like prayerful, so she believes that any decision I make is on me. If I want to go out and take drugs or do something that I shouldn't be
Which
doing,
you wouldn't?
Yeah, which I would never do that.
Right, okay, that's an interesting question again. Right, so on set, we tend to kind of have a good girl time, you know, we drink sometimes just to kind of let the atmosphere and ambience quite relaxed. And I think, and I'd say probably the most fun guest that I've had would probably be, and I say that because we had quite a bit to drink on set that day. I think it was Brenda David and Christiana Opaleye. It was fun. Like, we were dancing, we had a good time, we didn't want the day to end. It was fun with those girls. We danced, we had such a good time. By the time they left, I literally just went straight in there and I was gone. I literally, so it was good with them. And I've also had a few other guests that I kind of saw, you know, I didn't know a lot about them before coming on set. And having them on set made me respect them a lot more. Caroline Popola, I think, was one of those. To my music, I mean, she's got 13 nurseries. I mean, black women are killing it. I was so inspired just to literally learn that she had that many, and she's actually looking into starting a franchise, so you know everyone can start buying and start, you know, opening a nursery. So I think that's great to know. Folana Bule was her co-guest, and she's a senior director, you know, where she works at the moment, and she's doing so well as probably the only female and the only black female woman in one of the board of directors. So I think, you know, it's great to actually learn from them, because I've had quite a lot of intelligent women here as well. So yeah, it's but honestly, they've all been good. All my guests have been amazing. I said, so you have some friends that he feels like you actually married. The only thing is that you guys didn't walk down the aisle. Like, it takes so much of your time for whatever reason. But so how do you kind of juggle all of this many things?
Because I haven't got a lot of friends. I've got a number of them. And some of them help me with the business.
Okay, which is great.
Some of them
can they be my friends too?
So they help me mentally, because sometimes having a business is a lonely place, and you need people to talk to and pour your heart to and moan when you need to moan, and you know. So I've got those sort of friends, and also just finding time. I'm sure if they're watching today, I'm there thinking, oh, she doesn't pick up her phone when they need to speak to her.
Oh, you don't pick up your girl list. Girl, you do not pick up that call.
But you know when you're busy, you know how it is.
So you're trying to tell me I'm not busy?
You are busy, but it's just a crazy world. You know, you're being the director, the creative director, doing all those stuff, and being a mom and being a wife as well to, you know, another baby.
Absolutely, yes, it is indeed, and I tell you why. The reason is that most, and if probably all, the topics that we discuss on set is relevant to any woman, regardless of your color, regardless of your age, regardless of your race. You know, how do you begin to talk about, you know, raising a child with special needs? It doesn't come with color. How do you talk about when we're talking about depression, when we're talking about, you know, things like being abused being in an abusive marriage, and when we talk about being a woman and trying to just rise up and get in that top director role in your career, it doesn't come any better. So it's not a black woman topic, but the show allows me to bring in black women to discuss these issues, because we are in the diaspora and we cannot shy away from the fact that we are in the diaspora.
First of
all, I mean, I don't disagree that there is all of those things out there. There's, you know, racism, and there's different challenges from both a gender and a racial perspective. But I don't actually see a lot of those things, in the sense that, back to my point earlier, it's all about the mindset. So my mindset is such that I only focus on the value that I bring in any situation. Of course, there's always going to be challenges. I face challenges every single day, but it's what you choose to interpret those challenges as. So if I'm faced with a situation where, say, I'm in a male-dominated environment, and, you know, I'm facing challenges in the sense that maybe my voice isn't being heard, or, you know, I have a certain recommendation or opinion that's just been, you know, shoved to the side, my first thought wouldn't be it's being shoved to the side because I'm a woman, or because I'm of a certain, you know, race or color. You know, it would be, you know, well, what are the other recommendations, and how do they differ to what I'm bringing to the table?
In season 2, I've come to realize that as women, we kind of go through the same thing. I think I mentioned that earlier on. We go through the same challenges, the same issues in life. And I think what will be great for most of my viewers to learn at the end of season 2 is that we are going through the same thing, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you are, whether or not you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're in the States, you're in London. We are all going through the same thing. So when I do have guests that are talking about, you know, going through depression, you know, finding it hard to kind of climb the career ladder, it is something that is very relatable to us as black women, or as women in general. And so it would be good for someone who's probably sitting down somewhere and thinking, my life is the worst. You don't have it bad. You don't have it as bad as some people. We are going through the same challenges, the same issues. But the most important thing is for you to know and be able to identify with others going through a similar challenge that you're going through. I think people will be able to learn that from season 2.
The Jo Maxwell Show is simply inspirational, completely amazing. Every woman should watch the Jo Maxwell Show. Insightful. I mean, she's so articulate, it's conversational, it's everything that you dream of in a talk show, especially targeted at the woman of color.